Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Slingin Dirt for July. I always try to do this, and I forget the date. August 14th. Good night for it's absolutely beautiful weather, and it sounds like it's going to be a little bit of chilly this week. A little bit of chilly.
I tell you what, this is going to be one of the fastest Slingin Dirt interviews we've ever had because we got somebody that doesn't sling dirt. He throws it, chunks it, rolls it, you name it. We got the driver of the T4 Sport Mod, Ryan Topf. Ryan, how you doing tonight, man?
Oh, not too bad. And yourself?
Well, I'm lucky to be alive. I mean, I tell you what, every time I talk to people about you, I call you the streak because all you see is a yellow streak going right by you on the track. I'm like, man, there goes Ryan. We might as well just go up to the high side and try to follow Ryan around the track, and yeah, good luck with that.
I thought it was because of the streak you left in your fire suit when he passes you.
Oh, no. He does. Okay. That does happen.
Okay.
That does happen. Right. I mean, Ryan has got to be one of the most feared drivers. When we show up at the track in Sport Mod, we see Ryan Topf, we're like, oh boy, stuff's about to get real, boys.
Ryan, you're obviously, you talked to us. We appreciate you taking the time out of your night. You're on vacation up at Lake Okoboji. So just to clarify, are you inebriated enough to do the interview?
Oh, yeah. You bet.
It always takes a certain level of being drunk to talk to us two fools.
Yeah.
Well, do you see who he races against on Friday nights?
Well, I don't know. You're in the back, he's in the front. It's a little different. Ryan, talk to us a little bit about.
He usually starts in the front, but he ends in the back.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm slow. I just want to make sure today's up and comers like Ryan Topf are going the right direction on the track.
Buddy, always helping out, isn't he? Ryan, talk to us about your start in racing. What got you started, and what made you move to a sport mod?
Oh, I just, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I guess, I just kind of started going to races a little bit with my friends, and my friend, Evan Nemitz, he was good friends with Josh Most, and he sure, brought me around Josh quite a bit, and between him and Josh, they kind of got me talked into buying a sport mod, and I asked him, well, where's the best place to start, and probably a sport mod, he says. I'm like, oh great, here we go. And I ended up getting the guy's car down in Omaha, and it was a Edge sport mod, and had a pretty good sized motor in it, and I didn't even get to race that car actually. Ended up selling that one to Evan Nemitz, and I got a newer one, or a brand new one, beginning of last year, because they needed that one to go out to Las Vegas with, because Josh screwed his up. So they ended up taking that one there, and I don't know, I guess I raced that motor, and there's things that were wrong with it, so we had to get it fixed, and I went out and got a brand new crate motor and dropped it in pretty much brand new Edge chassis and went out. My first feature race, I come out with a win.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does that do for your confidence? I mean, it's going to give you a big boost, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really, it's a big adrenaline rush, that's for sure. And after going out and whomping everybody that night, yeah, we better take this a little more serious, maybe. Yeah.
Did you just say whomping everybody's ass?
I'm pretty sure I was out in front quite a ways that night. But.
I obviously do the announcing at Crawford County Speedway, and I hope you don't hold it against me, but I've had the pleasure, and I do honestly tell you it's a pleasure to watch you this year, but I've also had the heartbreak of watching you. I don't know how many times I've seen you just absolutely school everybody in the sport mods, check out in front, and then you've had the worst luck at Crawford County this year. I saw a battery fall out of your car one night.
I wouldn't quite say that was a battery. That was a transmission.
Was it? I thought it was a battery.
I told you it was a
out.
tranny.
Well, I do. I make a habit of not paying attention to you.
No, that night I was actually leading my heat race, and I kind of felt a little vibration coming through corner 1 and 2, and it just lifted the whole ass end of the car off the ground. And there went my transmission. I was hanging on my shifter handle, and it just took it right out of my hand. I was like, oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
And that doesn't even begin with the bad luck you've had. You've been leading the feature and got caught up in lap traffic. Allow me, if you will, to just regurgitate all of your bad luck in Crawford County, if you don't mind. I honestly think if it hadn't been for your bad luck, you would easily be winning this point standings right now.
Yeah, I can believe that, really. But
what's your mindset when you sit there and look at that? Do you get discouraged? Do you hire a witch doctor? What do you do?
Well,
witch doctor? Is that GOAT, Steve Reed?
Race by race, I guess.
What's that?
I take it race by race, and screwed up last night, or it's Saturday morning. Screwed up last night. What's going to come next week? Just something's going to break. Something's going to happen. I had a three weeks straight that I broke every week. Couldn't even finish a race, but I was doing awesome right up front there.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about what happened last week at Crawford County. It's been a big topic of discussion amongst Buddy and I.
Oh, God, has it.
Amongst friends there and officials there, too. Can you take us through what happened in your words, if you don't mind?
Yep. The beginning of the race, I don't know how many times I've watched the race just to make sure I'm in the right hands here, but I go out there, and the first caution, I believe somebody spun out, maybe. Or it was Tyler Gross. He spun out on the back stretch, and he was behind me, I guess. So that one definitely wasn't me. And then we had a complete restart and started the race, and I don't know, it was first lap in, coming out of 4, and the kid leading actually spun out on his own, and I had a couple of people kind of yelling at me for that one. He was 2 car lengths ahead of me, and I didn't even touch him. I actually almost took my teammate out trying to get away from it.
You guys were on the outside, and I was on the inside of you guys when that happened.
Yeah, and everybody behind me was right behind the guy that spun out, so they all got trash cars. That deal.
Oh yeah, and to just explain it, that sport mod feature on last Friday night at Crawford was a bit of a wreck.
That was not a fun feature to drive in.
There was 19 cars that started the feature, and before you guys were even able to complete a lap, 7 of them were on the hauler being pulled out.
Yep.
And there was 2 red flags before you even completed a lap.
Yep.
So anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead and continue.
After that caution, I don't know, everybody was kind of yelling at me, this and that, and then we go to restart the next time, and I don't know if I might have scraped on somebody's tire, my right front tire. I kind of felt that it was, it wasn't really turning right under caution, and we come out of 4 ready to go green, and I think I started on the bottom there, and I couldn't turn left at all, so I kind of stayed on a little bit to try and get up to the outside to get out of everybody's way, and that car behind me actually drove over my right front tire before the cone, and, he can't pass before the cone, but I don't know, I was just trying to get out of everybody's way there, and they ended up getting me for that caution, but I guess if I had a flat tire, it makes sense.
And was that the caution that, and that was the final one that because the rule at Crawford is you bring out 2 cautions and you go to the pits. So was it that time they notified you that you were done for the night?
Nope, it'd be the next one.
Okay.
The next one.
Well, we got going to the next one, and, I had to start in the back. I had a flat tire, and it was about second lap in. I had already been up to about maybe 6
right.
or something, up their 6th place, and I was on a rail. And
Kind of seemed like you were a guy on a mission at that point in time.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed off at that time, I guess. But
funny how I can tell that all the way up in the announcer's booth.
Yeah, well, that 5B Brosh, we were both coming into 3, and I was real close to him, right underneath of him. And he kind of got sideways a little bit in front of me, and I went to hit my brakes. And, you hit your brakes, you're going straight. You're not going to be turning, And he hit his brakes because he thought he was going to spin out, and I just power dived into the side of him. And, yeah, I can kind of understand that one, but I'd say he got a little sideways out of control at first. But, yeah, I can probably understand both ways, I guess. So.
Yeah. But it doesn't make it any better, though. I mean, you're frustrated at the time that your night's over with, and you're trying to salvage something, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, there was talk over the officials' channel. I know you stopped underneath the flag stand and have a conversation with the flagman, and is it Bob Wolf that does the infield work there?
Yes, I don't think too highly of him or what he was yelling in my window.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And there was talk that because of the action that happened next, that you may get a fine. Did they follow through with that?
I don't believe so.
You haven't been notified that you'd be getting any fines?
I don't believe so. Well, I haven't heard, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's good. And I know you talked about maybe skipping Crawford this week. Can I plead to you that I really like watching you race, and you do put on a hell of a show? Can you come back for one last week in 2013?
I really thought that over, and I believe that I was, I'm on my right path on what happened last week. I think I'd rather come and kind of shove it down somebody's throat, but I was, the right person in the deal. And I think I'm going to come back there, I guess.
I'm really happy to see that.
I'm not. I'm going to get my butt kicked. Although we were having fun. We were having fun on the caution laps there, side by side.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever think about, on Facebook, Ryan, you and I, we were making fun of Steve Reetz's, we know him as GOAT, but we were making fun of Steve's body on his Edge car. At any time during the night, did you ever think about maybe getting into the side of Steve and maybe putting a crinkle in that brand new black body of his?
Yeah, we were actually under caution. We were under caution, and we were in corner 3, and I waved at him. I'm like, "That's a nice body," and I drove right up into the door of him. He's got a good tire mark now. Yeah, I had to give him a little shit there.
Well, I drove up on the left side of the car, and he looks over at me, and I waved at him, and I was like, "Nope, I'm not going to hit him because it'd be my luck. I'd hit him with the right front and break a ball joint or pop a tire, and my night's done." So I was like, "Okay, never mind."
Yeah.
Ryan, we're glad that you're going to come back to Crawford for another week. Talk to us about the rest of your season. Do you race just at Crawford on Friday nights? Or I think you make your way to Shelby County, too, on Saturdays, right?
Yeah, earlier this year, I guess, I was kind of running that John Deere series there for quite a while, and I was up to Alta with that. And I wasn't doing too bad. I got a couple heat race wins there, and I was running second or third there for a little while, and my brakes weren't quite set up right, and I went off the edge of the track there, too. But, I was running down to Shelby County for quite a while, and then after I was running there 3 days a week, it was getting a little expensive. I figured I better simmer down a little bit, maybe just hit Denison for a few weeks, and I don't know. Stay in good hands.
Is there any possibility that you could be making an appearance at the Super Nationals?
Oh, I thought it over pretty hard there, but since it's only my second year, I haven't got quite enough experience behind the wheel, I guess. So I don't think I probably will.
Last year you and I raced against each other at Denison a number of times. Being a fellow Sport Mod driver, Dan and I want to ask another driver this. Do you think Denison going IMCA helped the track Yes or no?
I'm not really sure. I guess I haven't really been around it enough. But
well.
You know, I think Harlan got rid of somebody because they kind of drove them down the drain. I think you probably know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I think it might happen there too if something doesn't change.
What would be if you're coming back in 2014 and they sit you down and say, "Okay, Ryan, you've got one thing to change at CCS. What would it be?" And if you don't want to name names, you don't have to. But hell, if you want to, I mean, what are they going to do to you? Fine you next week?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Just the words that come out of that guy's mouth when I was sitting there was nothing that I was too impressed with, I guess. So
you would
that's
change
kind of where I'm getting at.
You would change the vocabulary of one person.
Yes.
Okay.
You think the talent, the pool of talent has gone through the roof exponentially this year versus what we had last year?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you see back, you know, at the beginning of the year, they're getting 100 and I don't know how many cars, and they're getting down towards the end of the year, you know, people are kind of getting pissed off, and they're not really going there quite, you know, like they used to.
Yeah, I have noticed that checking out the car counts that it hasn't slipped a lot. I mean, there's still a good car count. It's still right there at about 100, but we used to be 120, 125, and now you're starting to lose probably 4 or 5 cars per class, and so it's starting to die off a little bit. Is that just because it's the end of the season?
I really doubt that it's just the end of the season because, like, you know, Josh, that he's car builder and stuff, he's come up quite a bit there at the beginning, and then, you know, I don't know how I got called for jumping earlier this year, but he was getting called for jumping quite a bit, and he got a little pissed off there, and he didn't quite keep coming, and I'd have to grab him by his sack and tell him he's coming if he's going to come.
I love how you don't sparse words.
That's Ryan for you. It's all or nothing.
It is all or nothing.
What's the rest of the year look like for you, Ryan? Are you playing in any big races? I know we kind of scratched Super Nationals off your list, but what about the Tiny Lund?
Cornhusker Classic?
Cornhusker Classic, something like that?
Yeah, I'll probably hit both of them maybe. But, yeah, I'm not so sure about Super Nationals yet. Haven't quite thought it over that.
Well, if you don't race it, are you going to go watch?
Oh, yeah.
The party scene wouldn't be quite right unless we had Ryan Topf there.
Yeah, I went down there last year, and oh, man, that's a blast.
Do you remember much, or is it just a blur?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Oh, this has got to be one of our more entertaining interviews on Slingin Dirt. Ryan, how can people get a hold of you and track your racing?
Oh, I'm not even sure. I don't have really much. Going.
You can follow him on Facebook, Ryan Topf, Topf. Did I spell that right?
Yep.
Topf, yeah, Ryan Topf. Just search for it on Facebook. He'll keep you up to date with his results, and you can even check out some of the video from CCS last Friday night, and you can make your judgment call if he was right or wrong. Ryan, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Do us a favor and enjoy a couple of brews up there at Lake Okoboji.
That sounds good.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, thanks.
Bye. I got to tell you.
That's quite possibly the funniest interview we've ever done. Grabbed him by his sack and told him he was going to race.
And Josh Most isn't that big of a guy. He probably could. No, I won't go in there, but yeah. Very entertaining. Ryan Topf. And listen, you and I, we're going to argue about this now because we talked about it off the air, that I did not see, and I don't listen to the officials' channel, so I don't have an opinion of whether he should have been called for those cautions or not. The fact remains that anybody that brings out 2 cautions at Crawford County goes to the pits. They're done for the night because they're tired of this 1 a.m. final checkered flag stuff that happened a lot last year. It started again this year, and they're putting an end to it, and thank God, because I'm tired. I was tired of getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning. He brought out, whether or not, they called him for 2 cautions, and so they sent him to the pits. And then the incident I referred to, and I didn't want to try to make it uncomfortable or anything, but that one of the officials came up and talked to him. Now, I obviously, sitting up in the announcer's booth, can't hear what was being said, but from my line of sight, he was parked right underneath the flag stand, which is pretty much straight in front of me. The conversation ended, and the official had not completely pulled away. He was clear of the car, but he was still standing next to it, and Ryan took off. I fault Ryan for that because I think he lost his temper and he peeled away, and it put an official or even just anybody, it put a person at risk. And so I wouldn't blame him if Crawford fined him for that, but it sounds like, for me, it kind of sounds like, because they would have notified him by now.
Oh, yeah.
Correct?
They would have notified him that night.
So it sounds like he didn't get fined, which, okay, that's fine.
And I know he didn't get DQ'd because when I went to the payout window, he got 12th. He was scored 12th and got paid out. So I know he did not get DQ'd.
Okay, so answer me this. 19 cars started, and he completed more laps than the first 8 cars that wrecked out, right?
Yep.
If he gets DQ'd, regardless of how many laps he completed, he would have finished 19th.
He would have gotten no points, no pay.
Okay. So but he would have been scored as 19th, right?
Yeah, I guess on paper,
Is
but
okay.
for points, he wouldn't gotten nothing.
Okay, I'm not calling you. I'm not trying to challenge it. I'm just asking you to clarify the rules for me. So that's what you're saying, is that would have been, that's your defining thing, is that he did get paid out and he did get points, so he didn't get DQ'd.
Right.
He just got put into the pits.
Yep.
Okay. Now answer me also this: you've got 2 cautions that come out and you get put into the infield. Does that count as a DQ, or is that just your night's done?
No,
if
I'm involved in if I cause 2 cautions and they tell me to go, Bud, go back to your trailer in the infield, I still get placed. I don't get DQ'd.
Okay, so it's not a DQ if you get pulled off the track for bringing out 2 cautions.
No.
Okay.
No. If you get DQ'd, you got to do something really blatantly
okay,
wrong.
I'm just trying to get everything straight in my head. So you and I had this big argument that, I mean, you felt like Ryan was in the right to. I mean, talk to me about it. Have we?
If Wolf's head is in the car and Ryan takes off, that action in itself, at that split moment, I don't condone that right now. I've done the same thing at Eagle Raceway. And I actually called, I can't remember his name, but I called him and apologized. Now, I don't condone that. But as a driver, when Ryan's sitting here second, third in points, running for a track championship behind Doug Smith, and he gets a questionable call, and it's everything that he just mentioned. If you watch the video on YouTube, every call that he talks about is blatantly shown right there. Well, when he's being told, you need to go to the pits, you brought out, he didn't do nothing wrong.
Okay.
So if I'm a driver and you just ruined my championship hopes, I'm going to come up there. Now, I have to be fair here. Ryan was talking about the words that came out of Wolf's mouth were not good.
He didn't appreciate the way that Bob talked to him.
But we didn't hear the words coming out of Topf.
Right. And
so you got to be fair.
I want to correct you on one thing. Regardless of how Ryan would have finished in that race, he's not running for a championship. It's not mathematically figured out, but as of August 2nd, before the actions of August 9th, Ryan was 59 points out of the championship lead. And
was he in second?
No, he's in 4th.
Okay, and how many points was there to 5th? From 4th to 4th.
He's another 50 points ahead of 5th. Yes.
Oh, so he had 4th place locked up.
Yeah, and I need to look at the point standings. He's still in 4th place. He had a chance to jump up to 3rd. He's 10 points behind 3rd place. A really good finish would have put him in 2nd place. But he's not contending for a championship. Now, 2nd to 4th, payout's a lot different. That's a big thing. But the thing I fault Ryan on, and I think I kind of got the sense that he may regret his actions, but I don't care what you're doing. If you're running for a points championship, if you're running for $1 million, you don't put another person's life at risk. I'm going to sit here and maybe play politics and be politician a little bit and say, I don't blame Ryan for being upset, but I blame him for his actions. Regardless of how he felt about the official, he didn't He shouldn't have put the official's life at risk. And it's a dramatic thing to say he put his life at risk, but let's face it, one freak accident, and this happens all the time, one freak accident, and someone's end up in the hospital, God forbid, dead. That's where I fault Ryan. And I wish I would have asked him about that, but yeah, it's kind of a fine line. We don't want to make anybody look bad.
I'm not condoning what he did, but in that split second, if you're in the driver's seat in that car, you're irritated, you're hot, you're mad, you got a big old guy like Wolf screaming at you, whatever he's saying.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever know what was said between those two except those two.
Right.
So in racing, and I'm just as guilty as this, the knee-jerk flash temper reaction, at that moment, I can see why he did what he did, but I'm not condoning what he did, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think we're saying the same thing. We both understand why he was mad, but his actions displaying why he was mad, peeling away like that and putting the official's life at risk is where we both say you went a little bit too far. And it's easy for us to do that because hindsight's always 20/20, and we can sit here and criticize all we want to, and you're the driver, you've sat in that seat. And honestly, I mean, you had to deal with this earlier in the year out at Eagle Raceway. You talked about it just a few minutes ago. So, I understand that, but I have thoroughly enjoyed watching Ryan race, and I guess I also kind of take a little bit of excitement in the fact that I finally learned how to say his name.
Topf.
That was one of the names that last year when I started announcing at Crawford and the name came across my sheet, I just went, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Topf. Topf.
Yeah, I don't even know what kind of nationality that is.
What are you showing me?
That's the current points in the sport mods.
Oh, okay. I've got him. I just got to pull him up.
Yeah, notice who's in fifth.
What is he? Yeah, good job. Where is he at now after August 9th?
He's fourth place.
Okay, still fourth. How many points?
451 to my 406.
451 to my 406. So he's still 50 points in front of fifth.
Basically,
okay,
yeah.
So it really, even though he got in all that happened, he really didn't lose any points on fifth. Okay. Well, that's racing and stuff happens. I just wish that, I think Ryan will take it and learn from it a little bit. It's his second year, and I like Ryan. I'm actually very excited that he's coming back.
He puts on a hell of a show. When he gets behind the car, you had better... in fact, this week, I was talking to a guy, and he told me that Ryan was thinking about going to I-80 Speedway Friday night.
Yeah.
And so I went over to the Scale of Buddy's car, and I told him, I was like, man, you guys might have this T4 car coming. His exact words goes, is he very fast? I was like, you better have your poop in a group.
Well,
because he's coming.
He's fast, but I think he's got the Kyle Busch thing that we talked about where Kyle just races a little bit too fast. He pushes the car a little bit too far, and that's the reason why he has the bad luck. Things break on him. If Ryan was to back off a little bit,
be a little bit more conservative,
just a scotch, I think he would have more wins in his column because he'd be able to take care of his equipment.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like Ryan Gustin at the Silver Dollar Nationals. Had Ryan realized he had a straightaway lead on Jimmy Owens, I think he would have backed off and not run the I think he blew a tire. No, he got into the back of Kyle Burke.
He blew a tire.
No, he got into the back of Kyle Burke. That was the big argument. But I mean, it was the big kind of a thing is that he got into the back of Kyle Burke because he came up on Burke a little bit too fast. But that's another story. But that's my point is that if Ryan could back off just a little bit, I think he'd fare much better. Are we gonna do race results from what do you want?
Iowa?
We did Iowa last week, didn't we?
Nope, we did I-80 and Eagle.
Did we?
Yep.
We did Crawford and Shelby last week.
Maybe you're right.
We did Crawford and Shelby last week.
Okay.
I remember that for a few different reasons. So you want to do I-80 and Eagle?
Yeah, we can do I-80 and Eagle.
I'll start off with I-80. It was a special night. They didn't race on Friday night. It was a Sunday night special race with the USMTS Hunt for the Casey Cup series coming in. For your Hobby Stock A feature, this was the other class that raced. It was Hobbies, Hornets, B mods, and A mods that I've got results for. So let's actually start with the Hornets. Top 5 finish, Shane Okiniewski out of Omaha, Nebraska in the 151 came home 5th.
Say that name again.
Okiniewski. Okiniewski. O-K-N-E-W-S-K-I. Okiniewski. I think that's why I assume, but I'm probably wrong. Fourth place, Scott Brown out of Council Bluffs. Dan Markham came home in third. Andrew Kuva came home in second. And Tony Carragher out of Woodbine, Iowa, got himself the win. Biggest mover, let's see, it's probably going to be, Andrew Kuva out of Omaha, Nebraska in the 89 car. Started 10th, finished second, so he moved 8 positions to get himself a top 2 finish. Came home in a runner-up.
Your top 5 in the hobby stocks. That 68 plus 1, Blaine Peterson out of Essex, Iowa, starting 3rd, finishing 5th. Kevin Sutter out of Westboro, Missouri. He's actually a really neat guy to watch, a really cool kid. In that 79 car, started 10th, finishing 4th. Fuzzy, Jason Fusselman, you should recognize that name out of Harlan, Iowa. Car number 55, started 15th to 3rd. That's a hell of a run at I-80 Speedway. Derek Fralin, big name racer, long-time racer out of Beatrice, Nebraska. In that 1 car, started 1st, finishing 2nd. And Jeremy Otten out of Clarinda, Iowa. In the 20 car, started 4th, finishing 1st. I tell you what, though.
Who's the biggest mover?
Biggest mover, hands down, I think Josh Cook in 6th. And here's why. Fuzzelman, Jason, he gained 12 positions. But Josh Cook has been at Denison a couple times. He drives the white car, white number 45. That's Dennis Cook's son. This is his first year in racing.
So how is he the biggest mover, though?
Because he is probably the least experienced. And when you are that little experienced in a car, and you're racing against guys like Fusselman and Sutter and Blaine Peterson and these other guys, Ryan Gillian, Josh Cook can only have but maybe 10 or 12 nights on him. When he can gain 10 spots on these veterans, to me, that's the biggest mover.
All right, I'll take it. For your B-Mods, the A feature, finishing 5th, Jared Weston out of Red Oak, Iowa. Coming home in 4th, Sean Harker out of Nebraska City. Tony Roast out of Utica, Nebraska in the 69 machine brought it home 3rd. Cody Olson in the 777 in 2nd. And Kyle Preiner. Really? Preiner out of Norfolk, Nebraska in the 5K car gets the win. The biggest mover, my math, is Tony Rost. 7 positions. Started 10th, finished 3rd.
That's Tony Roast, by the way.
Okay.
Kyle Preiner, name to watch.
Sure?
I've only raced against the guy.
Well, there's no A, though.
No, it's Tony Roast.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Kyle Preiner, current IMCA points leader in the sport mods.
Yeah.
Right here in our backyard. Super great guy, runs a Victory chassis.
We've got a couple of those points leaders in our backyard.
We got a lot of points leader in our backyard. In the A mods. This is the USMTS. This is as big as it gets right here for the modifieds. Top 5, Jason Crone in that 7K car started 5th, finished 5th.
Where do I recognize that name, Crone? Did he race last year at Crawford?
Not Jason Crone. Jason Crone is a full-time.
He was
at the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Oh, I know where I know it from. Never mind.
You know what I told him at the Silver Dollar Nationals? Funny story here. I walked up to him. I was
How long is it going to take?
Crone, I got a funny story. Or I got a great T-shirt idea. And he goes, I'm all ears, bud. I'm like, so.
Wait, is this the one where you make fun of Crohn's disease?
Yeah.
That's not funny.
Sure it is.
That's mean.
He thought it was funnier than hell.
That's one thing, but
I was like, when you race against Jason
Crohn's,
Crone, you will be inflicted with Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, by being passed by one of the fastest guys in America.
Give me the top 5.
Number 4, Zach Vanderbeek in that 33 ZV started 12th, finishing 4th. Rodney Sanders out of Happy, Texas. Happy. Started 3rd, finished 3rd. Johnny Scott out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. In that 1ST car, started 10th, taking home 2nd. And Jason Hughes, owner and manufacturer Hughes Race Chassis out of Watts, Oklahoma. He's really electrifying. Get it? Electrifying. Watts.
Yeah.
Right. Car 12, started 2nd and finishing 1st. Man, that's an all-star field.
How about our boy there?
Yeah, I tell you what, Trevor Hunt, I was asking about that. One of my crew member, Harley, went to this. Started 7th, finished 10th, had to race his way into the A out of the B feature, and that night at the Silver Dollar Nationals, he had to come through and race his way into the A out of the B feature. I tell you what, 14 years old, and he's got some fire in his belly, too. He's one guy that will kick, claw, and scream to get into the A feature, and he's a kid running amongst a group of giants right now.
Other favorites, Ryan Gustin out of Marshalltown, Iowa, finished 11th. There's that urge to kick again. I don't know what happened. And who else we got there?
Johnny Sadoff.
Johnny Sadoff got himself a good finish. Jordan Grabowski So, yeah, it's a couple of local favorites up there mixing. Kelly Shryock.
So who, look at the 26th place position. How does that figure?
The 26th place car, the the triple O, the .USMTS out of Webster City, Iowa machine. I wonder. That's interesting. We'll have to,
Yeah, I seen that. I was like, what the?
Wow.
I tell you what, though, you look at all these guys with their names. I mean, you've got some awesome nicknames. I mean, you got Jeremy Peckham pecking away at the competition.
Hey, by the way, we're speaking of nicknames. I wanted to bring this up. Exactly how many drivers own the name High Side Hustler? Because I know of like 15.
That's a pretty common name.
Yeah, I was I was going to say that because I was looking at some Facebook profiles and somebody somebody goes, yeah, I'm the original High Side Hustler, and I'm like, you're like 18 years old. I doubt you're the original High Side Hustler.
I mean, Josh Most, he's known as a High Side Hustler.
Right. Anybody that runs that High Side on the I mean, Chris Abelson could be called the High Side Hustler because he likes that high side too.
No, he's Mr. Excitement. But
well,
there's several.
What I'm saying is that he could be too because there's,
yeah, but there's a lot of drivers out there that share the same nickname, and I'm like, come on, be original.
How about heading over to Eagle Raceway and checking out the results from August 10th, Saturday night? Let's see. Start off with the IMCA Sport Compacts, finishing 5th. Cole, help me.
I got to get to the page.
Oh, my God.
This computer is running slow.
You're supposed to cover for me. Crash you?
Where's it at? In the Sport Compacts?
Sport Compacts finishing 5th out of Lincoln, Nebraska in the 5K. Cole, Krichau. Krichau. In 4th, Kenny Roberts. Rick Hollinsworth out of Lincoln, Nebraska. 3rd place, Chad Basinger out of Nebraska City in the 4X machine. Wow, moving up 12 positions to finish 2nd. And Matt Moyer out of Gretna moves up 10 positions to get the W on the night. Biggest mover and shaker, easily going to be Chad Basinger out of Nebraska City in the 4X machine. 12 positions to take home 2nd place.
In your IMCA Sport Mod A feature event, 5th place, Gary Sadoff in that 96 car out of Beatrice, Nebraska, started 12th, finishing 5th. Kyle Floodman, I'll come back to him in a second. That 7K started 8th, finishing 4th. Bob Rusinger. He's actually a school teacher, and I don't know how many more nights he's got left with school being here, but car number 7 started 5th, finishing 3rd. Sean Harker out of Nebraska City there, started 7th, finishing 2nd. And Joe Fayen, that a boy. Great to see Joe Fayen get a win in that 25X machine, starting 6th, finishing 1st. That Kyle Floodman back there in 4th place. Here's a kid, I've been watching him. He's in my Dirt Series. He's been struggling a lot. Nobody really took him seriously. And all of a sudden, in the last 5 weeks, it's like, Kyle Harvick, where the hell did you come from, Floodman? I mean, he is flooding the A feature with all kinds of driving ability and talent. And, I mean, he's living up to his last name. So, but, I mean, you talk about impressive. Great kid, nice kid, but, man, have they really turned up the heat a little bit there. I tell you what, my biggest mover and shaker, I'm thinking back there in 6th place, Ken Eckhoff. Started 17th, finishing 6th. Way to go, Ken, out of Hooper, Nebraska in that 5 machine.
For your hobby stocks, finishing 5th, John Kane out of Homer, Nebraska in the 44 machine. Justin Busboom out of Lincoln came home in 4th. Roy Armstrong and Beatrice came home in 3rd. Nick Lindbald out of Beatrice, Nebraska in 2nd. And Rob Brown out of Nebraska City got the W. Started on the pole, ended it on the pole. And biggest mover, what's that going to be? Probably Roy Armstrong, 10 positions. John Kane in 5th, also came up 10 spots. So there you go. That's your Nick, hobby stocks.
How'd you pronounce his last name, that 2nd place, Nick?
Lindblad.
It's Lindblad.
Okay.
Every time I see him, I've never gotten to meet him. I always think of SpongeBob. Lindblad. Get it?
Dear God.
IMC and modified features. 5th place out of Sioux City, Nebraska, Mr. Excitement himself, Chris Abelson. Bob Zubek in that 5S, starting 11th, finishing 4th out of Dorchester, Nebraska. Out of Columbus, Nebraska, in the 60 machine, Anthony Roth, starting 3rd, finishing 3rd. In 2nd place, Hunter Marriott. There's a name in that 62 car, been at Crawford. traveling around. He's probably up here getting a little ready for the Super Nationals here in a couple of weeks. Out of Brookfield, Missouri, started fifth, finishing second. And Dustin Anderson in the 8A in that new GRT car out of Omaha started fourth, finishing first. Mover and shaker, I would have to say Bob Zubek, starting 11th, finishing fourth. Otherwise, I mean, you look down there in ninth. Johnny Sadoff, 17th to 9th.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty good run coming up. You got Roger Hayden. That's Chevy Hayden, by the way, starting 18th, finishing 11th. So even though they're back there, I mean, we had some pretty good movers from up in that area. How about our sprint cars, Dan?
Just as I was going to hiccup. Terry Richards out of Denton, Nebraska, and with the top 5 finish. Keith Dragu out of Lincoln in the 77D came home fourth. Lee Bowens in third.
Bowes.
What'd I say?
Bowens.
Jesus. That has nothing to do with me being dumb. I think it's just me being tired. It's probably got to me do being dumb. Lacey Tuttle out of Omaha, Nebraska in the 50 car got herself a second place finish, and Doug Lovegrove out of Waverly, Nebraska came home with the win. Shaylee Bate, I believe that was the first time with that brand new car, or maybe the second race, started 15th, finished 11th. That's an update on one of our favorite sprint car drivers, Shaylee Bade. Not a bunch of real movers and shakers. You got a bunch of 4 or 5 position guys, and gals.
I would say Clint Benson down there in that 7th spot, 11th to 7th.
That's 4.
And then you got Shaylee, 15th to 11th. So that's
like
4.
I said, there's a bunch of guys who moved 4 or 5 positions.
Yeah, it just
not a big mover and shaker,
but you know what that shows? That the racing had to be close.
Yeah, 17 sprint cars showed up for the Race Saver 305s at Eagle on August 10th for the racing. So there you go. That's your results from I-80 and Eagle. Maybe next week should we? Obviously next week we're going to talk about results from Crawford County because it's the final week this Friday night at CCS to crown some champions. And Jesse Sobbing pretty much locked it up with another win. Who else? Doug Smith locked it up with another one. No, he got a top 5 finish.
Yep.
But he locked up his championship. Who else?
I think it's pretty close. Well,
I think
the race to watch right now, Jason Cole, 1 point behind.
Yeah.
1 or 2 points behind.
I need to look at I think it's
that is the race to watch at Crawford County, in my opinion, this week.
Oh, absolutely. Let me pull it up real quick. Points from the 9th.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but
Jason Cole is 1 point behind Corey Madden.
So he needs to finish at least minimum
2 positions ahead.
Yeah.
But no, he could tie with him, and Jason Cole would get the tiebreaker because he has more wins on the season than Corey Madden does. Madden's got, I believe Madden's got 2.
How hard do you think they're going to be running these cars this week?
They were running hard last week.
I noticed Jason Cole was getting a little loose coming off turn 4, and he was backpedaling and wheeling it. I mean, it was putting on a show.
Early in the feature, Madden got a little bit too high and almost went over that turn 3 and 4 that we argue about, and almost gave up the championship. It was right there, but he was able to regain the composure of the car, didn't lose much momentum, and he was able to start knocking off a couple of positions.
Yeah, Cole went to Harlan Saturday night
and won.
So that would have made, 6 out of 7 shows?
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yep. Oh, wait, no, 7 out of 8.
Or maybe was it 7 out of 8?
7 out of 8 shows because he won 6 straight. He won 3 at Denison and 3 at Shelby. He's now 3 for 4 at Denison and 4 for 4 at Shelby. So, yeah, that's late models. It's close there between Jason Haney and Jay Stewart. That's going to be a good battle to find out who's going to win that. Obviously, like I said, the modifieds and sport compacts pretty much decided. The sport mods also decided. Stock car feature. Stock car is kind of close. If Donovan Smith is 12 points in front of Mike Nichols, if Donovan breaks and Nichols is able to get himself a win, then we've got to change, but I don't anticipate that happening. So that's the way Crawford's going to wind up.
Let me ask you this. At Denison this year, and I totally forgot where I was going to go with that.
Yeah, that's good, though. That's good.
Now
I'm starting to rub off on you tonight, aren't I?
Yeah. No, I what the hell was I going to ask you?
I had a light lunch, and I am so freaking absent-minded right now. It's ridiculous. Were you going to ask me after Friday night, what do I think of the season this year versus last year?
Yes.
It's funny how I kind of anticipated that question. I think that they made gains on the track and through the officiating. There's more to be done, but they keep adding new stuff every week and new ways of doing things that are helping the racing. So I think 2013 has been a better year than 2012, but I'm going to stick by my guns, and I'm going to say that it's not because of IMCA.
Well, let me ask you this. If I give you a magic wand and say you can change any one thing, anything at anything at Crawford County, what would it be?
Elevator to the goddamn announcer's booth.
I second that. What do you think of getting PJ in the on the Slingin Dirt next week?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, oh God, that'd be a great. Yeah, we could definitely do.
He's there every week.
Absolutely,
he's unbiased.
Well, I think he's a little biased. He's got his favorites, just like you do and I do.
I don't have any favorites.
Please.
You name one guy that.
Are you going to really be that night? Are you going to really play that card?
If you're going to play the name that I think you are, we're family.
Okay. No. You guys, okay, just to prove my point, you went back and traced like 8 different lineages to find out you're related to Jesse Sobbing. And oh, by the way, we're doing an interview with Chris Abelson, and 13 times you mentioned Jesse Sobbing. Abelson then gets mentioned 4 times. Yeah, you're a little biased to Jesse Sobbing. Don't give me that.
Okay, whatever.
Do we have anything else to talk about? Big couple of weeks for us, both with Slingin Dirt and the front stretch. We're going to be live now from the Boone Super Nationals.
That Sunday morning for pre-tech.
On September 1st. We'll be live that weekend.
Everybody come on down. We'll be there setting up at 7:30 in the morning. You're not going to be here, you're not going to be there all day, are you?
No. I'm heading back, and I'm going to watch the Nebraska 360 sprint cars at I-80 that night.
Okay.
So I'll come back that night and watch that race. And then the next weekend, you're going to be at the Super Nationals on Saturday the 7th. I'm going to be at Iowa Speedway on that on that Saturday and Sunday, and then the trucks race that Sunday afternoon at Iowa Speedway. So I'm going to be doing that race, and we'll be live from Iowa Speedway that morning, and you're going to check in for a couple of turns. Unless I get the interview that I want, then I'm going to reduce you to 1 turn, so you're only going to have 15 minutes to get all that out. You can. So
if I'm sober and awake.
Yeah, if we get the interview I want, then I'm reducing you. But otherwise, we'll give you 2 turns, and we'll break that all down. And then, we're going to be live Sunday morning, obviously Sunday morning from Iowa Speedway. That's going to be the wrap-up to Richmond. So we'll know who will be in the chase after that race on Saturday night. So much going on the next couple of weeks. It's special city. I-80 Speedway, like I said, special night this coming that's September 1st. For Nebraska 360s, and then the Cornhusker Classic is just around the corner. I'm so excited about the next couple of weeks, and it's like you said, it's going to be nice to kind of put the racing to rest, take a little bit of a break for a couple of months, recharge, relax. I know you went to
Yellow Smoke.
How'd that go?
Can you talk about it? I honestly could have stayed there for a week.
Why didn't you?
Well, you know what's really funny is my crew guy, Sean, and his wife, Heather, was with Rachel and I. And so, we got the race car loaded up. We got the big track car, which we race obviously at Denison. Well, 20 miles down the road, 20 minutes away, well, guess what? There's Shelby County Speedway.
Yeah.
So we were mentioning, well, you women could relax around the campfire, and we can go racing Shelby County Speedway. Yeah, that didn't go over real well.
Yeah, mister, I'm taking a night off. I'm tired of racing. I need to recharge. You decided you were going to go racing.
Racers do get burned out. Racers do like to have...
I agree with that, yeah. I understand.
But then when racing day gets here, we're kind of like scratching going, okay, yeah, we get the itch. We got to go. We got racing withdrawal syndrome.
All right, that's going to do it for Slingin Dirt. We appreciate you guys joining us. Get out and support your local dirt track. This is Slingin Dirt, presented by Joe's Karting at Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. .com.